ตอนนี้เป็นประธานของพรรคที่ชื่อ Democratic Party แล้วก็แน่นอนครับเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของการประท้วงด้วยครับ Hi Emily
Hi.
Hi Thank you for talking to me tonight
Thank you.
Yeah What is your role in this ongoing protest in Hong Kong
Well, I'm just a participant. I have no role really.
Yes But now your position is chair of the Democratic Party
International Affairs Committee.
And the ongoing protest seems to have sparked a very big international interest. What is your assessment so far of the protest?
Well, I think the protests have very successfully attracted international attention.
Yes.
And the protesters have raised money to put advertisements in newspapers of many countries.
Yes.
And even I myself, I have been interviewed by many media, and now I'm talking Thai media. And a few days ago, I was interviewed by Thai PBS, television.
Yeah. Yes.
And interviewed by the Indonesian television. So in Asia and in the West, I think there is a lot of interest and concern.
Yes.
So we are very happy about that.
Yes. Carrie Lam said yesterday that she's trying to have dialogue with people from all backgrounds to sort of find a solution to the ongoing issue. What is your idea of the dialogue? What do you think about that the dialogue is about?
Well, actually, we don't know. And she has not given any details.
Yes.
But she said on Saturday, she would meet with 20, 30 people who have suggested that she should have dialogue.
Yes.
And these people are mainly from the establishment. But I think they are going to then propose how and who she should meet. So I think we have to wait and see. When they announce the details, then we will know whether she is genuine, whether she is sincere or not.
Yes. แอมิลี่ลอเป็นอดีตนักหนังสือพิมพ์แล้วก็อดีตเนี่ยเป็นสสของฝ่ายประชาธิปไตยในฮ่องกงครับตอนนี้เธอก็เป็นผู้สนับสนุนและก็แน่นอนเป็นผู้ใหญ่ที่เป็นที่ปรึกษาบอกว่าแคร์รีลัมประธานบริหารฮ่องกงวันก่อนบอกว่าจะพยายามมีการพูดจากันกับกลุ่มต่างๆผมถามเอมิลี่ว่าแล้วมันแปลว่าอะไรเธอบอกว่าก็ยังไม่ชัดเจนเพียงแต่ว่าวันเสาร์นี้เธอบอกว่าเธอจะพบกับคนสัก 20-30 คนส่วนใหญ่เป็นคนจากรัฐบาลก็อาจจะหาทางว่าจะดำเนินมีการต่อรองเจรจากันอย่างไรด้วย How do you think this protest will end, Emily?
Well, it's up to the government of Carrie Lam and also up to Beijing.
Yes.
If they will respond to the demands of the protesters, then of course people will feel that they can, stay home for a while and not have to have continuous protests. But if they do not respond to the demand, then I think the people will continue. And just today, the students, the secondary school students and the university students announced that although they will go back to school after the summer holiday next month, but they say they will go on strike. So I guess the protest will continue unless and until the government responds to our demands.
เอมิลี่บอกว่าผมถามว่าแล้วมันจะจบยังไงเนี่ยก็บอกอยู่ที่รัฐบาลฮ่องกงและปักกิ่งจะตอบสนองคำเรียกร้องของฝ่ายประท้วงแค่ไหนมิฉะนั้นการประท้วงก็จะดำเนินต่อไปวันนี้เองมีคำประกาศจากมหาวิทยาลัยและโรงเรียนหลายแห่งว่าจะไม่ไปโรงเรียนจะประท้วงด้วยการไม่ไปเรียนหนังสือซึ่งก็แปลว่าการประท้วงยังดำเนินต่อไป But when you say respond to the demands of the protesters, do you think that Beijing or the Hong Kong government are ready to concede to all the demands, especially the free elections part?
Well, of course, Beijing has always been very tough.
Yes.
And but recently, in fact, in the last few days,
Yes.
there have been articles written in the mainland
Yes.
about Beijing saying they do not want this whole protest
Yes.
to turn into a contradiction
Yes.
Between Hong Kong and the mainland, or contradiction between Hong Kong and the international community.
Yes.
So I think some people interpret that as maybe Beijing taking a softer line.
Yes.
And that's why Carrie Lam came out
Yes.
and said she would want to build a platform to engage
Yes.
Different sectors of people.
Yes.
But we have to wait and see, because Beijing is always very tough.
Yeah.
And but we don't want them to think that accepting the demand is a sign of weakness.
Yes.
Actually, you listen to the people. It is very popular and supported. It should not be a sign of weakness.
ไม่ได้บอกว่าท่าทีบทความในสกินในจีน 2-3 วันที่ผ่านมาก็ท่าทีเหมือนกับจะอ่อนลงจะยอมฟังแต่ไม่ได้บอกว่าก็ไม่อยากให้จีนเนี่ยคิดว่าการยอมตามเงื่อนไขของฝ่ายประท้วงเป็นการแสดงความอ่อนแอ But do you really think that Beijing is ready to grant Hong Kong people universal suffrage?
Of course not. But I think this is something that we will continue to fight for.
Yes.
And we have been fighting for that for many years.
Yes.
And so democracy is important.
Yes.
But I tell you one thing.
Yes.
It's very ironic.
Yes.
Hong Kong does not have democracy.
No.
We don't have democratic elections to choose the government.
Yes.
But the level of freedom, personal safety, and the rule of law that we enjoy in Hong Kong is much higher than in some, countries which have democratic elections. Maybe, dare I say, higher than Thailand, higher than the Philippines, higher than Myanmar, higher than Cambodia, higher than many, many countries, my friend.
Yes. You're right. So, what does it mean? You mean that status quo for Hong Kong is okay with you?
No, I didn't say that. Of course.
Yeah.
And I speak as someone who has been fighting for democracy for several decades.
Yes, I know that.
So,
yes.
when some young people especially criticize us
yes.
for not being able to secure democracy, which is true,
yes.
but it doesn't mean our efforts were in vain. Because without the efforts of millions of Hong Kong people fighting in the last few decades, we won't have freedom, civil liberties, personal safety, and the rule of law.
Right.
I may not even be able to talk to you now.
That's true. Yeah, I know. And of course, your generation has been quite successful in making sure that Hong Kong remains reasonably free, despite the fact that the basic law does not allow for free elections.
Well, it does actually, but it puts up many hurdles.
Yes.
In order to get there, you need the support of Beijing and the support of the Hong Kong government, the support of thirds of the Legislative Council, meaning it's almost an impossible task.
Right. ในรัฐธรรมนูญฮ่องกงหรือที่เรา Basic Law เนี่ยถึงแม้จะเขียนว่ามีสิทธิเลือกตั้งเสรีเนี่ยแต่มันมีอุปสรรคเยอะมากอย่างที่เอมิลี่อธิบายคุณต้องขออนุมัติจากรัฐบาลฮ่องกงคุณต้องผ่านขั้นผ่านตอนฉะนั้นมันจึงเป็นไปได้ยากอย่างยิ่ง But the protesters now say that they will not give up until they get all the demands, which means that this protest will drag on for a long time.
Well, as I said, if the government starts engaging people from different sectors, then maybe some of the big protests will subside.
Yes.
And the 1st of October
Yes.
is very important to Beijing.
Yes.
It is the 70th anniversary
Yes.
of the founding of the People's Republic of China.
Yes.
And there will be big events in Beijing.
That's true.
And I'm sure President Xi Jinping
Yes.
does not want any big trouble in Hong Kong
Right.
to overshadow
Right.
the celebration in Beijing. So,
that's true.
but they cannot just suddenly announce a curfew in Hong Kong so that nobody can protest. They should do it the soft way, engage people so that they are willing to go home and stop this constant protest.
วันที่1 ตุลาเป็นวันชาติจีนเนี่ยอันนี้บอกว่าสำคัญมากสำหรับสีจิ้นผิงสีจิ้นผิงไม่ต้องการเห็นการต่อต้านเป็นขบวนแน่ถึงวันนั้นเนี่ยดังนั้นอเมริกาก็คิดว่าถ้าจีนยอมโอนอ่อนผ่อนปลนบ้างก็อาจจะลดความตึงเครียดของการเดินขบวนบางส่วนก็อาจจะกลับบ้านได้แต่ว่านี่ก็เป็นการคาดเดาของอเมริกาเองว่าสีจิ้นผิงคงไม่อยากให้มาถึงวันนั้นแน่นอน If the protesters say, at least Joshua Wong told me that they will not talk to Carrie Lam because they believe Carrie Lam has no authority, cannot decide for herself. So they will talk only to representatives from Beijing. Is that realistic?
Well, I think everyone is free agent.
Yeah.
They talk to whoever they want to talk to. If someone is willing to talk to them,
yes.
So it's not my problem.
Yes.
I think I believe there are people who are willing to talk to Carrie Lam and her government. But it's not just talking. It's to find out what are you discussing and what is she prepared to do. Yes. That's the important thing.
Right.
So I would not say, and we will not talk to her.
Yeah.
No, that's not my attitude. I will talk to her. And actually, it's not for me because I don't represent the Democratic Party.
Right.
It's for my members in the Legislative Council, especially, to talk to her.
Yes.
And if Beijing officials want to talk to us, of course we'll talk to them. We'll talk to anybody. I'm talking to you now.
Yes. Yeah, that is one way out. That is to talk to anyone interested in talking, right?
Yeah.
ผมถามว่าเนี่ยโจชัวบอกไม่พูดเราจะไม่พูดกับแคร์รีลัมเพราะไม่มีอำนาจต้องพูดกับตัวแทนจีนเลยแต่ว่าไม่ได้บอกพูดกับทุกคนแหละเราพูดกับทุกคนใครอยากพูดกับเราก็พร้อมจะพูดเพราะว่าเราต้องการหาทางออกร่วมกัน so your position your personal position and the position of the protest leaders at the moment are not exactly the same, right, on some of the minor details.
Well, the protesters say they have no leaders.
No leaders.
None at all.
Right.
They are like water. They flow everywhere.
Yeah.
No platform, no leader.
Yeah.
They just represent themselves. They don't represent anyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't represent my party. I'm just a member of my party.
Yes.
So, but I think that many Hong Kong people would like to see the government responding to the demands. So if Carrie Lam comes out and speaks in a sincere manner, really addressing our concerns, then of course, I think people are willing to see that a dialogue would take place between the government and the opposition.
ไม่ได้บอกว่าผู้นำไม่มีตัวตนจริงๆเขาบอกว่าผู้ประท้วงบอกว่าเราเหมือนน้ำเราก็ไหลไปเรื่อยแต่ว่ามันไม่มีตัวตนของผู้นำแต่อย่างใดทุกคนเป็นตัวแทนของตัวเองก็ขึ้นอยู่กับว่าแคร์รีแลมเนี่ยจะจริงใจแค่ไหนในการที่จะหาทางออกร่วมกันขนาดนี้ Are you afraid that China might send in troops?
Well, of course we cannot rule it out, but I think, and if the recent reports are correct, then maybe the Chinese government wants to take a softer line.
Yes.
And there is no need. I mean, there are no riots here, no terrorist acts.
No.
So why sending the troops?
Yeah.
The police will say they can handle the situation.
Yes.
But who knows? I certainly don't want them to send in the troops.
Yes.
And I think Hong Kong people don't want it because right now the business is very bad already. Some shops have closed down because we have very few tourists,
yes.
and even some students are not coming,
yeah.
and some conferences and exhibitions are cancelled.
Yeah.
So it's quite bad already.
Right.
So if they do something more drastic, it would hit Hong Kong very badly.
Yes, yes, yes. เอมิลี่บอกว่าผมถามว่าคิดว่าจีนจะส่งทหารเข้ามาปราบไหมเธอบอกว่าก็คงจะบอกว่าไม่มีทางเกิดขึ้นไม่ได้แต่ก็หวังว่าจะเข้าใจเพราะว่าตอนนี้ที่ฮ่องกงก็ไม่มีการจราจรไม่มีการก่อการร้ายนี่จะมีเหตุผลอะไรที่จะส่งทหารมาและตอนนี้ก็แย่อยู่แล้วร้านรวมก็ปิดนักท่องเที่ยวก็น้อยลงฉะนั้นถ้ายังจะคิดส่งทหารมานี่ฮ่องกงก็จะย่ำแย่ล่มสลายไปเลย Will Hong Kong be ever the same again, Emily, after this incident?
Well, actually, it doesn't need to be the same again, but I think this time what is good is that so many young people have suddenly waken up and to take a very strong interest in this important affair because I think they are very concerned about their own future.
Yes.
And one country, two systems, this policy Beijing has given Hong Kong is supposed to only last for 50 years.
Right.
And now it's already 22 years.
Yes.
So some students, some young people are very afraid that, oh, what will happen in 2047?
Right.
And so I think we should all, as a community, start addressing the problem of 2047 to make the young people feel that we care about their future too.
That's
although many of us may not be here in 2047.
ก็ไม่ได้บอกว่าอีก28 ปีเนี่ยก็จะ50 ปีที่จีนสัญญา1ประเทศ2ระบบก็จะหมดไปดังนั้นน่ายินดีคือคนรุ่นใหม่ตอนนี้สนใจปัญหาการเมืองมากแต่ว่าเอมิลี่บอกว่าถ้าทำยังไงถึงให้คนรุ่นใหม่เหล่านี้เนี่ยรู้ว่าแล้วอนาคตเขาเนี่ยถึงปีนั้นเนี่ยจะเป็นอย่างไรครบ50 ปีแล้วให้ความมั่นใจเขาได้อย่างไรว่าเขาจะมีอนาคตที่เขามั่นใจว่ามันจะสอดคล้องกับความต้องการของเขาได้ so the young people are worried about the future. What about the older people? Are the older people in Hong Kong more sort of inclined towards Beijing than the younger people?
Well, Hong Kong is a city which is split asunder. Very polarized.
Yes.
And some older people, yes, they may be inclined towards Beijing, but some of them are inclined towards democracy and freedom.
Yeah.
So it is a very split city, and this extradition bill, which Carrie Lam proposed, has really torn Hong Kong apart. So some people say she is a sinner for 1,000 years for making such a big mistake. But now it's for her to come out to see how she can pull the city together again, make people do not hate each other, do not want to hit each other, and scold each other. I mean, it is really very bad now.
I really บอกว่าฮ่องกงเนี่ยเป็นเมืองที่ผู้คนความเห็นแตกต่างกันมากผมถามว่าคนแก่เอียงไปทางด้านจีนมากกว่าคนรุ่นใหม่ซึ่งเรียกร้องประชาธิปไตยไหมเธอบอกว่าก็เพราะว่าฮ่องกงมีความหลากหลายคนแก่ก็อาจจะบางกลุ่มบางคนเอียงไปทางด้านปักกิ่งแต่ก็ต้องการประชาธิปไตยต้องการเสรีภาพเหมือนกันดังนั้นการที่แคร์รีลัมเสนอร่างกฎหมายส่งผู้ร้ายข้ามแดนเนี่ยจึงทำให้สังคมฮ่องกงแตกกันย่อยยับเลยจึงเป็นหน้าที่ของเธอที่จะต้องแก้ปัญหานี้ดึงให้คนฮ่องกงที่ความคิดเห็นแตกต่างนั้นกลับมาทำความเข้าใจกันอีกครั้งหนึ่งว่า you have been a resident of Hong Kong all your life. What do you think will happen to Hong Kong after this incident?
Well, it depends on how Beijing wants to handle it.
Yes.
If they want to be very tough and crack down, then it will be terrible. But if Beijing wants to take a softer line and then respond to the people's demand, and then I hope, we can restore some peace and normality. And of course, we have to address the young people's concern about housing, about, lack of good job prospects and no future and too much interference by Beijing. These things have to be addressed and
Yes.
swept out.
Yes. เอมิลี่ผมถามว่าเอมิลี่เนี่ยอยู่ฮ่องกงมาตลอดชีวิตเนี่ยคิดยังไงว่าฮ่องกงจะเป็นอย่างไรหลังจากการประท้วงครั้งนี้ก็บอกว่าอยู่ที่ปักกิ่งแหละถ้าปักกิ่งปราบปรามหนักก็จะยุ่งจะไม่มีวันเหมือนเดิมแต่ขณะเดียวกันต้องดูปัญหาของคนรุ่นใหม่ก็คือเรื่องเศรษฐกิจปากท้องข้าวครองชีพที่แพงแสนแพงบ้านช่องก็หายากเย็นนั่นคือวิถีชีวิตที่เจอกับปัญหามากมายสำหรับคนรุ่นใหม่ This protest started as a movement against the extradition bill, but then it panned out into a bigger protest about free elections. How did that come about?
Well, I think many people in Hong Kong are very annoyed and disturbed that we do not have the right to elect our government.
Yes.
We are not fighting for independence.
No.
We are just saying that we want to elect the local government. But for so many years, we cannot do it.
Yes.
Beijing will not allow it. So that's why the people are very frustrated. And if it had been the government elected by us,
Yes.
I don't think the government proposed the extradition bill. So that's why they want to focus on that.
Yes.
But of course, I think most people know you're not going to get it immediately.
Yeah.
But of course, the fight for democracy will go on.
So deep down, the struggle for freedom has always been there. But this time, because of the extradition bill, it sort of stir up the old hidden emotions, feelings about democracy, right? Yes, Emily. Yes. ครับเสียงเงียบไปครับเดี๋ยวต่อใหม่ดูนะครับกำลังคุยกับเอมิลี่เพราะว่า Hi Yes Emily you back Hello Are you back โอเคต่อใหม่นะครับ Sorryทอมจะทนครับมีเสียงโทรศัพท์ดังมานะครับเดี๋ยวต้องต่อกลับไปที่เอมิลี่ครับเพราะว่าคุยกันกำลังได้ประเด็นเลยครับว่า Hi sorry yeah because there was a incoming phone so we were disrupted are you okay can you hear me now can you hear me now Yes, okay. Now, I was talking about the economic...
Yes, I can see you.
Yes, we were talking about...
Yes, I can.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
We were talking about the plight of the young people, the economic hardships and all this. It has always been there, but why is it there? Suddenly, the economic hardships became a big issue now.
Well, I think it's all of them coming together. Because of the anxiety of the extradition bill.
Yes.
Then they think about their own lack of future.
Yes.
And no democracy.
Yes.
And no job prospects.
Yes.
Housing is a big problem. They cannot afford to have their own flat.
Yes.
And then they are afraid that their freedoms and their personal safety will disappear.
Right.
The Chinese mainlanders are coming in and flooding the place. Yeah. So come together. So that's why they are so worried.
Yes. ครับเอมิลี่บอกปัญหาหลายอย่างมันมาผสมปนเปกันประดังประเดเข้ามามันมีเรื่องการเมืองเรื่องร่างกฎหมายส่งผู้ร้ายข้ามแดนแล้วก็มีปัญหาเศรษฐกิจที่มันแฝงลึกอยู่แล้วแล้วก็ยังมีคนจีนแห่กันเข้ามาทำมาหากินแย่งงานการมันก็เลยรวมตัวกันกลายเป็นประเด็นที่เกิดการประท้วงต่างๆแล้ว I saw Li Ka-ching coming up with a statement Li Ka-ching where does he stand Li Ka-ching
Sorry
where does Li Ka-ching stand I saw Li Ka-ching he's I
don't know
You don't know
I don't know. I am not his spokesperson.
I know, but
of course,
yeah.
It's no secret that Beijing does not like him very much.
Really?
So he is not popular. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why not? Why does Peking not like him?
Because he is selling many of his things, and he's trying to make it easy to build up our Hong Kong.
Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. He sold many things and
he's trying to get out of Hong Kong.
Oh,
selling his assets.
I see.
And that's why China does not like him.
Because I saw his advertisement in the newspaper in Hong Kong the other day, calling for peace, calling for restoration of peace and order. But he didn't really say he supported the protest, nor did he say he supported China.
That's right. So you better ask him. Don't ask me.
No, you know him well. You know his position quite well, right?
No,
No,
I don't know him
no,
well.
no. ผมถามว่าลีกาจินมหาเศรษฐีฮ่องกงเนี่ยเขายืนอยู่ตรงไหนแอนไม่ได้บอกไม่รู้แต่ว่าปักกิ่งไม่ก็ชอบเขาเท่าไหร่เพราะช่วงหลังเนี่ยเขาขายทรัพย์สินหลายอย่างคล้ายๆกับว่าจะหนีจากฮ่องกงไป Is it true that many business people also have shown signs of fleeing Hong Kong?
Well, some maybe, but the big companies are still here.
Yeah.
But they are forced by Beijing to publicly to pledge their support to take a position, of course, not good for business, to be forced to take a political position.
Yes. Yeah. Cathay Pacific is one of them.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And you can see many advertisements in the newspaper, even today.
Yes.
The Hong Kong Bank, the Standard Chartered Bank,
Yes.
they all have to place ads in the newspaper.
Yes.
So, which is quite ridiculous.
Yes. Ridiculous. You said ridiculous.
Why should a company have to put an ad? Yeah, why should the company have to put an ad in the newspaper?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, you know why, but yeah, it is ridiculous because you do not put an ad in the paper saying you support peace and order, right? Because it's normal.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's normal. เพราะว่า Emily บอก
I don't know. Do the business people in Thailand have to do that?
No, never. No.
That's good.
Yeah.
So the military government does not ask the businessman to put the advertisement in newspaper.
No. The military people here are not that sophisticated. ก็บอกว่าตลกมากนะไอ้ไม่ได้บอกเนี่ยบรรดานักธุรกิจบริษัทยักษ์ก็ถูกกดดันให้ตีซื้อโฆษณาในหนังสือพิมพ์จีนดังซึ่งเป็นท้องถิ่นว่าสนับสนุนให้มีการตกลงกันให้กลับมาสู่ภาวะปกติคือคล้ายๆกับว่าไม่เห็นด้วยกับการประท้วงครับ Do you see the closure of the airports for 2 days a mistake by the protesters?
Yes, I don't think the attempt in the airport to stop people from getting on the plane and all that is good. And I think some of them realized it was a mistake, and they came out to apologize.
Yes.
And I certainly hope that it will not happen again.
Yeah. ไอ้มิลลี่บอกว่าเห็นด้วยว่าการที่ไปผู้ประท้วงบางคนไปที่สนามบินไปติดสนามบินเนี่ยมันไม่ถูกต้องมันทำให้เกิดปัญหาและก็เขาก็ออกมาขอโทษแล้วหวังว่าจะไม่เกิดขึ้นอีก So what is your personal assessment of things to come?
I don't know. As I said, it's really up to Carrie Lam and the government in Beijing.
Yes.
If they want to take a more conciliatory, softer line by engaging the people, the public, and responding to some of their demands, maybe even not immediately, but at least start talking and doing things to make people that they are responding, then maybe the situation would de-escalate.
Right.
But on the other hand, if they continue to be very tough, and then the protesters would fight with the police, then I think this will go on for quite a while.
That's right. Yeah. เอมิลี่บอกผมถามว่าจะประเมินยังไงว่ามันจะจบยังไงบอกว่าก็ขึ้นอยู่กับปักกิ่งจริงๆเลยปักกิ่งกับรัฐบาลฮ่องกงว่าจะยอมผ่อนเบาลงไหมจะยอมที่จะพูดคุยกันไหมมิฉะนั้นเนี่ยการประท้วงจะยืดเยื้อต่างๆแน่ The American government has been accused by China, including the UK, of interfering in this protest. What do you think of that accusation?
Well, I think the protesters have been calling on all foreign governments to speak out.
Yes.
That's why they raised several $1 million and placed advertisements in many newspapers, in many cities.
Yes.
So, of course, they like any government to speak out, to support us.
Yes.
And if Beijing doesn't like it, it's too bad.
Yeah. But Beijing is specifically saying the United States has sent their diplomats to support, even to offer assistance to the protesters, even accusing the CIA, the State Department, of being part of that plot.
Well, I have not seen any evidence.
No.
You know, if you make allegations which you cannot back up, then it is very hollow. The previous chief executive, T.Y. Leung, he has made allegations about foreign interference, and people ask him to produce evidence. And up to today, he has not been able to produce any evidence.
Pictures of some of the protest leaders meeting Nancy Pelosi are not enough, right?
Of course not. I meet with many foreign government officials too. So what's wrong?
Right.
What's the big deal?
But
I met with your former Prime Minister, Mr. Abhisit, when I was in Bangkok last year.
I see.
So, people meet each other. So what is it? Do we want to stop people from meeting each other at all? No meeting. The Chinese government, they go abroad, they meet all kinds of people all the time.
Yeah. But it seems that Mike Pence and Donald Trump have now indicated that the Hong Kong issue will be part of the negotiations to the end of trade war. You think that is possible?
Well, of course, if the Americans insist, then it could be possible.
Yes.
But as I said, I just want to quote the title of a book.
Yes.
Let Trump be Trump. He's going to do whatever he likes, and you know that he will change his mind when he likes. So, but America is much bigger than the president. There is a whole thing called Congress.
Yes.
And there are many other institutions and civil society.
Yes.
So I come Americans to care about Hong Kong and to hear the president coming out his lips talking about human rights. It's very good. And I hope he will talk about human rights in many, many countries, not just Hong Kong, but Saudi Arabia and all the other places as well.
Right. Yeah. So this is a waiting game to see how Beijing will finally decide, and it probably will happen before October 1st, right?
Yes. Someone said there's a deadline, the middle of September. They want the whole thing to stop, but I don't know how they can do it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to know how they would do it without conceding to some of the demands and reaching some kind of agreement.
That's right.
Yeah. We saw a lot of people coming out in the last rally on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do these people represent the middle class? Do they represent the young people? Who do they represent, do you think?
Well, they represent themselves, but they come from all classes, all backgrounds, all ages. And one thing is very clear.
Yes.
They support non-violent protest.
I see. Yes.
They even ask the people to turn up, not to wear masks or goggles and things. But some of them did.
Yeah.
But there was no violent clashes. And
yes.
with other protests, some of the shops would close because they are afraid. Not that people will go in and loot the goods and so on, but the shops, some of them would close. But last Sunday, during the protest, the march, all the shops were open. So even the shopkeepers, they have confidence in this organizing. When they say we are going to have a peaceful demonstration, it turned out to be peaceful.
Right. What if you do a real poll? What if Hong Kong people can really cast a ballot to decide whether they want free elections or they want to be on the Beijing side? What do you think will be the outcome?
Of course they want free elections.
Really?
But yes, they want free elections. But that's not they want to overthrow Beijing or to declare independence. I think most people accept that this is part of China. But China has a policy to give us high degree of autonomy. So they want China to keep that promise.
Right.
But they have the right to elect our local government.
So there's no way Hong Kong can become another Taiwan, having their own elections.
Well, we are fighting for it, and I hope one day we will get there.
Did you yourself join all the rallies? Do you go to join the walk every time?
The legal ones. I joined the legal ones.
The legal ones. Are they illegal?
The non-violent.
The
non-violent ones.
I see. But you mean the legal ones, the peaceful ones, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But you never know when you leave home to join this rally whether it's a peaceful one or not.
Well, depending on the organizers.
Oh, you know them.
That's why you have to have confidence in the organizers. When they say this is the way they will organize it, and that's how it will happen.
Have you been talking to the young protest leaders like Yoshua Wong and tell them don't become too radical?
Well, as I said, they say there are no leaders. So let them figure it out. I'm not in the habit of lecturing people, so no need.
No need. They don't call up senior people like you with experience to ask for advice?
No.
No?
No.
Not really? What kind of communication do you have with these young people?
I think that my colleagues in the legislative council or in the political party, the leadership, they do have contact with them. Because as I said, I don't play a prominent role in the party. So I don't think I should go out and try to compete with my own party members.
I see. But of course, you are a respected member of Hong Kong Democratic Force. You know, you are.
I do a lot of interviews with the foreign media, like I'm doing with you. Today I spent a whole day with Australian television.
That's good.
So I do a lot of interviews with the foreign media to explain to them what's going on.
That's good.
So I'm not lazy. I would have to. Sometimes, I would do interview with the CNN at midnight. And sometimes I would do interview with CNN at 7 a.m. in the morning, and then BBC at 11 p.m.
Wow. Tough woman.
I'm kept very busy.
Tough woman, and you're doing a great service for Hong Kong that way. trying to explain. Thank you. So thank you again, Emily. I might want to bother you sometime later when there are new points to discuss. Thank you very much, Emily.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. นี่ครับแต่เอมิลี่เรานี่เป็นนักต่อสู้ประชาธิปไตยที่มีประสบการณ์สูงมากครับแล้วเธอก็เปิดเผยพูดอธิบายจุดยืนต่างๆของฝ่ายประชาธิปไตยได้อย่างค่อนข้างชัดเจนแล้วเธอก็จะพูดกับ CNN BBC อย่างที่เธอบอกเพราะว่าเธอรู้ความเป็นไปอย่างแท้จริงแล้วเธอก็อยู่ข้างเดียวกันกับผู้ประท้วงเธอเป็นผู้ที่ต่อสู้รุ่นแรกๆเกี่ยวกับเรื่องประชาธิปไตยเลยครับจริงๆอย่างโยชัววองนี่ต้องเรียกว่าเป็นรุ่นลูกเลยแต่ว่าเธอก็พูดสนับสนุนการประท้วงและก็ยืนยันว่ารัฐบาลปักกิ่งจะต้องยอมในหลายๆเรื่องเพื่อไม่ให้นำไปสู่การเผชิญหน้าที่รุนแรงกว่านี้ขอบคุณทุกท่านที่ติดตามครับสวัสดีครับ